0-1 thus far. And when you look at the ACC and you consider the fact that Virginia nor Duke have a win over a ranked opponent this year, resume practice until Wednesday. So you're seeing the rust offensively from the Tigers early.
Huff got himself inside and got that one to drop. The 7-footer
is really not in the favor of Brad Brownell. He knows how difficult it is to play against this team when you're in rhythm, and Clemson was definitely in rhythm before, not their favorite choice of opponents to be able to go against the Wahoos, and you see why early in this game.
A little backdoor cut there.
Doesn't help Clemson's offense because Clemson forcing 18 turnovers a game. They're used to getting out in transition, being able to turn their defense into offense, but there hasn't been much of that. Things are going good for you. The last thing that you want to do is stop. Often things, if things aren't going well, then you can use that break, but this came at the worst time for them after an overtime win. Well, and Clemson, you know, over the past couple of seasons has had a number of major comebacks, especially over ranked teams, where they've trailed at halftime. But the way that Virginia's playing offensively,
it's been the focus of their offense since he came into the game.
And Woldetensae didn't play against Notre Dame in the last game out as Kihei Clark.
This can be a very difficult court to win on for anybody. And you're up 25-5. Pretty little fall away and knocked down for 2.
There's some truth to that. However, Virginia not being as good as they have been defensively still makes them probably, if not the best, one of the best defensive teams in the country for an easy layup. And when you couple the fact that they're, you know, still a great defensive team with the fact that they're a much improved offensive team.
They've done a good job spreading it around here in the first half on their offensive end. Tyson inside will bank it in. Nice move there.
Had a facial injury, so getting an opportunity to get back in the lineup. But that's really where it's been for Brad Brownell, having to pull anything he can out of the hat to try to get them going offensively.
He's already equaled that. 34-9. Well, this is shocking for a team ranked number 12 in the country. Nearly lost it. 8 on the shot clock. And a good block there by Sims. 6'8" senior out in front. Here's Tyson. Tony Bennett talked about that being painful, but a refining moment. He said a really good dose of humble pie, and there's Tyson again. First half on an uptick.
But a different lineup for Coach Brownell to start the second half, and right now you see Nick Honor get an easy bucket.
Last season, and they held the Hokies to 11 at halftime. That turned out to be a game in the end, didn't it?
It did, but the difference between the two teams, and Reese Beekman's simple drive and kick, and Hauser, who doesn't UVA faithful ever since Tony Bennett took over at the University of Virginia. Shot clock violations are cheered for when there are fans in the stands, and of course you always cheer for the big threes.
You know, 3 or 4 games now, as you mentioned, back-to-back 18-point games for Huff. That pass tipped and picked off by the Cavaliers. On the drive, and a pretty play there by Beekman.
So a capable scorer and playmaker to take some of the pressure off of Kihei Clark.
Right to Clark as he picks it off. He'll drive it, little pop for 2.
I love it. Back from a young man who's won a national championship and made the biggest play in UVA basketball history.
You see it's been a blowout. You turn away, you go watch a MacGyver rerun. You come back a half hour later, and maybe it's really tightened up at that time.
This was a test for Virginia because they were going to be playing against better competition that Tony Bennett was looking forward to with his team, especially with the way that Clemson has been defending.
Huff bottled up, double team, swatted away by Sims. Shot clock is all the way down to 2. Got to get a shot in the air, and they hit it anyway. Remember, the Tigers have been sensational defensively. They're holding opponents to just 58 points a game. On the drive by Beekman, they really have made mincemeat out of the Tigers defensively.
Yeah, we came on the air talking about that this Virginia team could score. And we were talking about Clemson's defense. Talked about on November 25th, the first game that ESPN Family Networks aired this year, I talked about how I felt like this Virginia team, we expect the offense to come back rusty. But defensively, you would think that, hey, okay, you still could put up a better effort on the defensive end of the floor. And when you think about, you know, 2013, 2014, the year that Virginia won the ACC tournament, he will be getting that, you know, be on that ballot soon after doing so, and the program that he has created in Charlottesville.
Morcell will drain a triple.
That's what I need to know.
You know, that might have been junior high or so, but obviously you can throw a football 60 yards. And on the slam, Clemson cuts into it a little bit. 65-32, the Cavaliers. Beekman underneath takes the hit and drops in two. Who's been pretty darn smooth when he runs the offense, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. And Reese Beekman, of course, you talked about Louisiana High School Player of the Year, but Reese Beekman is actually from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. AAU with both Jalen Johnson and Jamin Brakefield that play for Duke. So it'll be an interesting matchup between those two when those two teams get together.
If you missed about the first 10 minutes, Clemson barely got into the scoring column. And swished in another long-distance shot.
The way they're shooting it right now, Virginia doesn't look like they're going to slow down much at all as Jay Huff continues to find himself in the SportsCenter highlight.
Defense is not supposed to take a night off like this. So you got to give Virginia a great deal of credit with the hot shooting by just about everybody.
Find some type of rhythm. Again, the season doesn't end today for the Tigers, but right now it has been all Cavaliers as Chase Coleman with the strong possibility of taking over the defensive scoring reign, which they've held so long. Hear about the defense of Virginia and how difficult they are to score against. I'm sure that was something that really played into the part.
You know, come the ACC tournament, they're going to be rolling. Many believe that Florida State was the team to beat for a national championship last year. COVID-19 got in the way. It happened to a lot of teams, and it happened to get us where we were totally off our game.
I believe that there is a part of that, understanding the sense of urgency that has to be played with. And right now we watch Virginia play with that, but we also talked to Tony Bennett about the humble pie that his team was served. So you will be moving forward. And right now I'm sure that's something that Brad Brownell will be looking at his team and seeing how they will respond to this, you know, as you call it, beating. Virginia has 21 assists.
21 assists. Man, does that pop. And they have shared the ball so effectively.
Not like you really have to make plays to get the assist. All you got to do is run the offense because whoever's catching it is making it over the past 8 seasons in Charlottesville.
It'll be banked up and in by P.J. Hall. Virginia now the 11 consecutive wins against the Clemson Tigers. And there it is at the buzzer, your final score, 85-50.